we move in to it is easily my pick of the week. I know you love
Yes.
Asteroid City, but FX's The Bear season 2
Yeah.
has to be the best thing that is out right now, dude. I absolutely love it. Zach knows that I don't binge things that much. I savor it. So when I'm talking to Zach and he's talking about savoring it, I'm like, whoa, 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 we switched roles here. But The Bear was one I had to consume all at once. I took all 10 courses
Ate it while
back
it's
to
hot.
back to back. Oh my goodness. Someone had asked, is it better than season 1? I don't care. I don't care. It's so good. They complement each other so well. It is setting up a third season in the most beautiful way possible. This is such an in-depth story where you realize things in season 2 that answers things in season 1 that you didn't even think there was a question to be asked there, because it just informs these characters so well. The performances, the comedy, the tension, and of course the food. It goes all out in season 2. If you are not watching The Bear, watch The Bear. It is showcasing Chicago in the most beautiful way. It's showcasing other places that they go to, because I know you're still missing a couple. I don't want to get into any spoilers of where they visit, but there is like just culinary classes that are happening in different locations. Every character gets the ability to be able to showcase themselves in a way where it's not, you know, when like different characters all have the same type of punchlines because they're written by the same writer, and it's like, but
Marvel
those aren't
movies?
characters. You know, I don't want to say the phrase, but okay, yes. This does a great job that when it has an episode for a character, it doesn't stray so far off. But the needle drops are formed to that character. The cinematography is formed for those characters, and it makes them feel so real and alive. And there is an episode in this that I got spoiled half of the cameos and was still surprised by half of the cameos. Do not spoil it. They're already talking about it in the comments right here. Episode 6 is incredible. I love a series where they don't care to go 30 minutes, 35, 40, an hour, back to 30, 30, 30. It is the best show out right now. Do yourself a favor. It is streaming on Hulu. Zach, what have you thought so far about the appetizer that you've consumed?
I mean, I'm 7 of the 10 in, so I think I've I've consumed a decent portion of the meal.
You just need
at
dessert.
Least. Exactly, leaving myself a little bit for after the meal. But like it's just been incredible. I can't disagree with anything you said. It's one of the best, maybe the best show on TV right now. And I think more than most shows, it has this ability to drop in a new character or drop you into a new situation, and that situation just feels so lived in and real. And like you know, you don't need more than like 1 or 2 lines of dialogue from some of these people to have like a full picture of who they are. Not going to spoil some of the bigger cameos that come later in the season, but pretty early we get a rare Molly Gordon appearance, and she just like so completely is on the vibe of the show immediately. It's just like a legendary kind of mute cute-ish sort of scene that doesn't stray from the tone of the show while adding this new kind of romantic element to it that wasn't there before. You know, we started this conversation by talking like, is this show better in its second season than the first? And I think that almost ignores that the show is evolving in its second season.
Yes.
That first season is like tension. It's high intensity. It's just like a battle in the kitchen for like supremacy and for dictating the philosophy, right? It's this tug of war between different people who have a different vision of what this restaurant can be. And season 2 is almost more of like an inspirational sports drama of watching the team come together and learning their skills and seeing as like the ideas evolve. There's this really, there's all the Mike Krzyzewski stuff that they layer in there too. But I think for me, like one of the highlights so far was there's this bit where you're following Ayo Debris' character as she tries to come up with a menu item, and the way that they're able to visualize the artistic creative process and how like the pains that she goes through in order to achieve something that she thinks is worthwhile. Like the show, it doesn't fit into like a neat 3-act pattern. It allows for messiness and for some failures to happen along the way, but it's so good at getting you to be behind these characters and rooting for them and just wishing that the best outcome will happen, even if you know that like ultimately they're human and they may not like get there in a neat path. I'm just so in love with the writing on the show, the way it's put together. One thing that is notably different, I would say, in the second season is whereas season 1 really feels like you're immersed in the restaurant, this one is taking more time to kind of give you the side character story, or give you a little bit of backstory that makes Carmi's whole like anxiety and tortured brain make sense. And I kind of, while I really enjoy spending time at the restaurant, I also really enjoy getting to dive deeper into these relationships and into these people. So it's hard for me to compare season 1 and season 2, other than in quality, where they're both just stellar. And I don't know if I can pick a favorite.
They complement each other well.
They do.
Like you were saying, it's you realize all that tension in the kitchen stemmed from the tension that they had at the family dinner table. You had mentioned the episode with Aya, which I was just jotting down every single possible restaurant she was visiting before they closed down as well.
Do a Bear season 2 tour?
Oh my goodness, dude! And I walk by a couple of those places as well, and I'm like, I'm gonna have to go and test it out. I wish I had the kitchen tours like she was able to have, but Cousin has an episode where you really get to be informed on his character, and he knocks it out of the park. You were talking about the creative side of it. I love seeing people learn on camera. I've said this before. And the episodes with Marcus, being able to take his passion with a stellar freaking cameo, by the way. Who's assisting him, and the idea of not being yelled at for your curiosity, for the mistakes that you may be making, but allowing you the freedom to be able to correct, make a mistake, and then learn from it is beautiful. I am one, not to get all preachy about it, but I feel like we don't see that a lot in movies, and we definitely don't see that a lot in real life. Most of us, I feel, learn things because someone made a mistake and someone quote tweeted to dunk on a person. And it's kind of ruining how we learn, because I think people assume that that's how you learn, by someone else's demise. And I see that a lot in many ways. And this show that a lot of people off of season 1 felt was like yelling at each other. Teaches you these little like tiny things on how to approach things. Not that things aren't going to be hard, right? But that you can approach it with somebody else and not overstep those boundaries. I think the whole show's an knockout.
The way the show kind of is willing to embrace failure as part of the process of learning is really radical in the scheme of television right now. And I love that so much. I really just cherish the show so much. And you know what? I love Taylor Swift too, but Daddy just needs a break.
That was really good. Did you see Rami directed an episode?
Yeah, good for Rami. When that came up in the title card, I was so happy.
Alina and I yelled it at the same time. We're like, what? And then he's going to be in the Yorgos movie. Shout out him. Shout out everybody involved. It's really good. Go to Mr. Beef. They're serving it fresh. It's hot. It's really good. Everybody involved here. I don't want to scroll too much in order to spoil it, but FX is the Bear. Easily so good. It is coming up as another pick of the week for me, specifically for that one episode, because there's a guest star that I am banking all the way. I may not have agreed on other awards, but I agree on this upcoming awards cycle for this actor, I will say. Just absolutely fantastic. So, I mean, we're going to be talking more about the Bear. If you have any other thoughts, your favorites, your favorite characters, your favorite episodes, your favorite restaurants that you think that they should visit, hit us up down below. I'm curious to visit all that. Give us some from Chicago. Give us some from New York, because I've been listening to a bunch of interviews with Carmi. What's his name? Jeremy. And
Jeremy Allen White.
Bro, he's got some spots over in Brooklyn. It's making my list get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Let's do it
all the time.
I'll make some reservations in September.